Hi, my name is Paula Swain. I'm a financial planner with the Financial Center for Women. And today with me is Jeremy Burks, who's a divorce attorney in Southgate. Jeremy's going to talk to us today about divorce and what we need to do to prepare for divorce and then some of the options you have when you're getting a divorce. So, Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, again, my name is Jeremy Burks. I'm a divorce attorney. My office is located in Southgate, Michigan.
So I know, Jeremy, you just recently helped me with my divorce. And so some of the things that I had to prep getting ready for that divorce were, to gather documents and really to ultimately make a decision if that's what I wanted to do. So what are some of the things that I needed to gather when I was getting my divorce?
When contemplating either filing for the divorce or if a divorce has been filed and served upon you, the most important documentation for your attorney that you would have to provide is financial information, bank accounts, retirements, any kind of savings, things of that nature. The more documentation you can provide to your attorney on those items, the less money that you're going to spend having your attorney hunt them down.
So when you mean hunt them down, how does that work when you have to hunt something down?
Okay, so there are several different ways an attorney can go about getting that information. One, an attorney can send out what are called interrogatories, a lengthy set of questions that is sent to your spouse that they have to answer under oath and provide documentation. Another way is an attorney can send subpoenas to the banks, to any kind of financial broker, to get that information directly from uh, those entities. You can send subpoenas to employers to get that information as well. But the more work that the attorney has to do to get that information, the more costly your divorce is going to be.
Okay, so you can kind of do all of that yourself if you have access to those documents.
Absolutely. And again, the more information you can provide to your attorney, the less expensive and less time consuming your divorce is going to be.
Yeah, we want our divorce to be less expensive. Um,
Yes.
okay, so I gather the documents, I come into your office, I bring you all the documents, and what happens after that?
Okay, so typically the way the process would normally work is you would contact an attorney to discuss what is going on, whether a divorce has been filed yet or not. Uh, you would typically meet with the attorney, whether it's in person or over Zoom or through a phone call with the attorney. The
Okay.
attorney will gather what information the attorney wants from you at that time. Do you have minor children? How long have you been married? Do you work? Does your spouse work? How much do the two of you make respectively? And then the attorney would probably ask you for additional documentation from there. Typically, in a divorce, especially with minor children, the most important thing is not going to be the financial paperwork. That can always come later. The most important thing is going to be, finding out what's going on with the kids, where you and your husband differ on uh, how this is going to look when you do get divorced. Does your spouse even know that you're contemplating divorce? When it comes to trying to begin settlement negotiations, that's when it's going to be imperative that the attorney have all of the financial information available, because it's very difficult to start negotiating terms of settlement when the attorney doesn't have a whole financial picture of what is there.
Okay, since you brought up children, how does child support work? How's that determined?
Child support in Michigan is determined by the Michigan Child Support Formula. That is to simplify it in the easiest sense. It is a formula that takes into account the most important things will be your income, your spouse's income, and the amount of overnight parenting time that each of the parties have with the children. Those are the three most important factors when determining what child support is. There's a program that is available online through the state of Michigan, the same program that the attorneys and the judge use to determine what child support is. You can go online, you can plug in those numbers, and it will give you a pretty good ballpark idea of what child support is going to be. Now, those numbers will fluctuate depending on who's paying for insurance or if anybody's paying for insurance. whether or not there's any daycare, and who will be claiming the children on taxes. But the most important numbers are going to be your income, your spouse's income, and the amount of overnight parenting time with the children.
So so I get the child support thing, but how do you handle like the kids' extracurricular activities? Like, I mean, is that, just whoever has them that pay? I mean, children
Typically,
are divorced and divorced. So how do you try to keep their life as normal as possible?
well, that is exclusively up to the parents to do. Uh, the more involved an attorney gets, or the attorneys get in a case, the more involved the judge gets in your case, the less likely it's going to be that your children are going to resume a normal, stress-free life. The more you have to bring the attorneys and the judge to make decisions for you or to help you reach a decision, the more complicated it's going to be trying to maintain a sense of normalcy for the kids. So what I typically do is advise clients to the best of their ability. And I understand a lot of cases it is impossible to negotiate with your spouse when it comes to what's going to happen with the children. But again, I do explain to them, the more that you agree to with your spouse, the cheaper your divorce is going to be. The last thing you want happening in your life or your kid's life is for an attorney or a judge to be making decisions that are going to impact you and your children long term.
Correct.
So the more that you can agree to with your spouse, at least in those areas, the better off you're going to be. I understand a lot of people can't come to terms with the financial part of this, but the last thing you want to do is have a judge shove a decision down your throat with what's going to happen with your children, when they're going to see you, when they're going to see your spouse, and things of that nature.
Okay, so we determined how to, we figured out how to determine child support. Now, how does alimony work?
Okay, alimony is every person going through a divorce in Michigan has a statutory right to petition the court for spousal support. There are several factors that I'm not going to lay out for you right now. There are several factors that the judge has to go through to determine whether or not a spousal support award is necessary in a case, and the judge is the one who will make the decision on what that spousal support amount will be. There is no formula in Michigan to determine what spousal support will be. Traditionally, it is a need-based part of the divorce. So when someone comes into me and says, hey, Mr. Burks, I'm thinking about asking for spousal support, the judge will absolutely look at the length of time that you've been married, things such as your health, your spouse's health. If you've been married for 2 minutes and you make the same amount of money as your spouse, spousal support is not going to be a consideration. If you've been married for 40 years and you've been a homemaker the entire time, and your spouse has been the only one who has worked, and you have no education for moving on to a new job or no job history, odds are pretty good that there's going to be a pretty significant spousal support award in that case. Traditionally, when clients come in and say, I'm thinking about spousal support, I tell them to come up with a budget, because we need to be able to tell the judge what you need each month to survive, and compare that to what you have coming in, whether it's from your own job or other sources of income, to determine what the need base is, and then go from there. If what you bring in and what you're estimating your cost to be is less than what you need, then that's where we start for asking the judge. If your monthly bills are $3,000 and your income is $1,000 a month, the starting point for spousal support would be $2,000 a month to make that difference between what you're bringing in and what you actually need to survive.
If you have any questions about divorce, please give Jeremy and I a call. Jeremy, I want to thank you for being here with me today.
Always a pleasure.